What will happen if you discover that your partner has been taking medicine to stop you from having children, and that action leave you childless? Put your thoughts in the comment section later. Now listen to this one. Once upon a time, in a busy town, there lived a woman named Oma. Oma was beautiful, sharp, and steady. Oma worked in an office. She liked her office life. She liked the neat file, the coffee that smelled like small victory, the sound of her heels on the marble floor in the morning. She liked targets. She liked the little light that came on her email when a deal closed. To her, work was order. Work was respect. Work was freedom. She had a plan. Move up, take the corner office, and get the title that made people look. That plan lived in her head like music, and always on, always steady. She did not have time for drama. She did not have time for gossip. She did not have time for a long call that will end with silence. One day, the company sent her on a 1-week seminar to the port. It was a kind of place where suits gossip and numbers and coffee taste like ambition. On the first day, while everyone shuffled to find seats, a man asked if he could sit near her. He was calm. He had the kind of quiet confidence that does not shout. It just sits and watches. His name was Bayo. Mind if I sit? He asked, smiling. Okay, she said, without a big smile. He sat, then listened to the seminar. He asked 1 or 2 smart questions. She answered with clear words. They both nodded. After the day of lecture, they walked out with the crowd and bumped into each other at lunch table. So, you're from Lagos office, he asked. Passing the peppered fish. Yes, she said politely. I handle operation. And I am a logistic, he said. We walked this side. I like how you answered questions earlier at the seminar. Oma felt something she had not felt in a long time. A small warm light. Not the big blaze of love, but the type that make you slightly curious. Over the days, he called to check on what she thought of the sections. They shared small messages at the conference. At first, everything was small and careful. Then it grew. Bayo was not the shouting type. He asked. He listened. He remembered small things. He remembered that Oma liked black coffee without sugar. He asked after work without probing. He told stories about his mother, his small farm weekend, his love for good stew. He told her he loved a home full of noise, children running to and fro. She liked him more than she expected. He made her feel safe. He made the office email less noisy. He made the future look like a soft place to land. But in the private room of her mind, the plan was still planned. Promotion before 40. Children could wait. Marriage could wait. She wanted the corner office first. They started dating properly. They met on weekends. Sometimes they worked late together. Bayo was careful. He spoke about marriage like a man who had built his life and wanted to have a family. When we marry, he said one night under the warm light of the restaurant, I want children. I want the house full. Oma smiled and said, we'll see. Inside, she felt the pressure of 2 things pulling. Her heart, which wanted to stay with Bayo, and her dream, which was a ladder she had not finished climbing. When he proposed, she felt sky high. She said yes, she loved him. He treated her with care. He made plans. He was the kind of man who visited her mother, saying good things and bringing small gifts. She loved that. Yet, in her head, the number was still there. The timeline she had promised herself. Babies meant night awake forever. Babies mean someone else need first. Babies mean a slowdown she was not ready for. So, she kept a secret. It started small. 1 pill after a late night. Because she felt it was safer. She told herself it was just a small measure. Not for always. The little white tablet felt like control. She was a woman who liked to control her life. At first, after intimacy, a small thing she told herself was okay. Then, it became more regular. She did not tell Bayo. How would she even explain herself? I am not ready for child. Would sound like a betrayer of the home they were building. So, she lied with small phrase, like, maybe later, not yet, let's focus on now. She smiled when he talked about crawling baby. She smiled when he touched her. She swallowed the tiny pills when he walked out. telling herself this was temporary. This is a life management, she thought. This is how I keep my dream, she would say to herself each time. Days went on. They got married. The wedding was neat and full of small family joy. In the first month, it was perfect. Sometimes she dreamt about little feats, but she pushed the thought away. Promotion was still near. A new project would make her name in the boardroom. She convinced herself she would stop the small pills later. But secrets never sleep. The little white packet sat quietly under her bag like a safe. At night, she would take one after they made love. It became routine. She felt ashamed sometimes. Her body had small warning, cramps, missing monthly days, nights that ended with strange tiredness. Still, she told herself it was temporary. She told herself she was doing what she must to protect the life she built. Meanwhile, Bayo started worrying. At first, he said nothing. He thought maybe it was stress that was not making her get pregnant. Maybe the workload. He took her to the clinic for tests. The doctor said both of them were okay. But month by month, nothing came. Bayo became quiet about dreams. He started to talk to his friend Tunde. He read about IVF. He spoke about hope. Oma kept smiling and telling small lies. She agreed to test. She never meant to take them seriously. She pretended to be brave. Inside her heart, the secret lives there. Each pill she swallowed was a small stabbing reminder of the double life she lived, day by day, director in making, nighttime keeper of a secret that could break everything. She told herself she would stop. She told herself just for now. The secret grew heavier, and the day would come when it would break. When Bayo decided to talk to Oma concerning the IVF, she fakely agreed, but the day that they were meant to go to the clinic, Oma felt a sudden hit of pain and gave an excuse. The next day, she made another excuse. Week passed by. Bayo's hope turned into worry. One day, in the middle of a busy meeting at the office, Oma felt a pain like a sharp rope around her lower belly. She screamed and collapsed. People around her panicked. The security men called an ambulance. At the hospital, the doctors were quick and serious. They ran tests. The word they said afterward broke the room. Mrs. Oma, you have been taking a very strong contraceptive for a long time. One of your fallopian tube is damaged badly. We need to operate and remove it now. The other tube is affected. Facility can be difficult. Bayo's heart dropped. He felt a hole open under his feet. He watched the doctor take her to the theater, and his world narrowed to the word. Why? Why had the woman he loved so much taken such risk alone? Why did she hide the truth? Why did this become their cross to carry? After the operation, when Oma finally opened her eyes, the truth stormed out of her mouth. She confessed everything. The pills, the hiding, the fear of losing her career. She cried and cried. She asked for forgiveness in words that were wet and small and truths. Bayo listened. Angry and sadness mixed into him like rain and fire. He loved her, but he felt betrayed. At home, the house changed. Days were long. Bayo came back late and left early. He became someone who walked in and out saying little. He had dreamed of a child he could call his own. He had walked clinic corridors with hope. Meanwhile, his wife had kept a secret that cost both of them. Their marriage hung like a thin string. Oma could have left it there. She could have collapsed into despair and shame, but she did not. She went to her mother and begged. She also went to Bayo's mother and knelt to tell the whole story. Bayo's mother loves her son. She knew the value of home, so she called Bayo and said, "My son, I beg you, remember your vow on your wedding day. This thing is big, I know, but your marriage is bigger if you both decide so." In a mix of pride and mother's begging, Bayo agreed to give his wife time and another chance. He forgave, but the wound was still there. Oma worked to rebuild trust. She stopped taking the pills. She went for counseling. She didn't go to work, but she created time for her family. Then one day, with a mix of hope and little miracle, the doctor told them, "Oma, you're pregnant." The news felt like thunder and cold rain at once. Bayo's face changed. He hugged her like someone who had been in a long desert and finally found water. Months later, 2 babies were born, twins, strong and loud. The house was alive. Markets that used to gossip now clapped. But this story must not be sugar-coated. Oma was lucky. Many people are not. Many women who misuse strong pills or do not follow medical advice end up with damages that cannot be reversed. Some couples never got a second chance. So, the lesson is heavy. Medicine are not to be played with. And marriage is not a place for secrets about things that can affect you both. This is the end of this story. Thank you so much for watching this story. If you enjoyed this story, please give this video a thumbs up, comment your thoughts about the story, and do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Please support my growth by subscribing and liking the story. See you next time. Bye.